Mark Walhberg tweeted Black Lives Matter, and immediately Twitter, everybody on social media started blasting him, started bringing out his past. He's had several racial incidents in Boston when he was like 15 years old, 17 years old, against, black kids, against Asian people. The latter, which he went to jail for 45 days. It was actually like a 2-year prison stint, but he went to jail for 45 days and came back out. If you want to find more information on that, you can look at his Wikipedia page, you can Google it. But people that are blasting him because of the things that he's done in the past, he's calling him a hypocrite. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what else do you want here? He's speaking out. He doesn't have to stand up and speak out, but he's standing up and speaking out for what is right. It's never too late to do the right thing. It's never too late to stand up to prejudice. It's never too late to acknowledge that there is a problem and that he wants to be part of the solution. But they're out blasting him, well, you did this, you did that. The man is damn near 50 years old. This was when he was like 15 years old, 17 years old. And I do believe that people can change. But a lot of people are saying that, once you're a racist, you're always going to be this way. You should cancel Mark Walhberg and this and that. And to me, that's just ridiculous. Like, dude, he is, in his occupation as an actor, he's been in this industry for what, like 20 years, 30 years. He's been a pretty good actor, a pretty successful actor, and he's a contributing member of society. Like, what more do you want? He was a troubled teen who broke the law, who did a lot of bad things, went to jail for it, came out, turned his life around, and now he's a contributing member to society. Like, that's what I want. I want people to be able to turn their life around. I'm not saying that you should forget his past. Like, it's there. It was never hidden. So I'm sure that when he tweeted this, he knows it's going to come back out again. And I guess being in the industry, being in the spotlight, it's not something that you want to bring up, and I get that. But at the same time, I applaud him for standing up and doing what's right. And again, I'm not saying that his past should be forgotten, but at the same time, like, he should be able to move on with his life. I applaud him for doing what's right. I applaud him for standing up and saying, hey, Black Lives Matter. And people shouldn't just bash him for that. I think the real issue is, listen, he beat up these two Asian guys like really, really badly, and he only went to jail. He was actually convicted of, he was actually charged with attempted murder, and that got dropped. It was a 2-year prison stint, and then he only served 45 days. So I think the bigger issue is, like, number one, I think the fact that he was a white kid in Boston beating up 2 Asian guys 30 years ago, that had a lot to do with it. That's white privilege. But another thing is, like, how many other Mark Walhbergs are out there in the world, especially in the minority community, in the black community, in the brown community? He was given a second chance. He did a very light sentence for the crime that he had committed, but he was able to use that opportunity and make his life better. Well, there's a lot of black kids out there, a lot of brown kids out there that could also do the same, but whether they do, a violent crime or a non-violent crime, they're not given that benefit of the doubt. They're not given. They're just like, unless they're wealthy, the law just throws the entire book at them, and they go to prison for 10 years, 20 years. If Mark Walhberg did 2 years of prison like he was supposed to, he might not be the Mark Walhberg of today. He might be just a lifelong criminal. If he was sentenced to 10 years in prison, he did 10 years, he might not be the successful actor today. So I think the biggest issue is, like, especially when they're kids, we need to focus on rehabilitation. We need to look at this example and go, okay, this is a guy who had a violent past, a criminal past, a racist past. He was able to turn his life around. Well, how many other kids can do that? So it shouldn't be like, well, this dude got caught smoking weed, I'm gonna send him to prison for 10 years. Or he even did a violent crime, I'm gonna put him in jail for 20 years. It's more, how can we rehabilitate him? How can we make sure this person turns into a valuable member of society? I think that is what we need to focus on. So people out there blasting Mark Walhberg, listen, I'm not saying forget what he did, but at the same time, I applaud that he's standing up, because it's never too late to do the right thing.